Concho Valley, as we wrap up this last day of July, we're watching a lot of that cloud cover push in from the south because it's being enhanced by the monsoonal flow that has begun almost immediately over Arizona, seeing a lot of those flash floods pop up there. And then we're looking at those temperatures right now, even though the sun did a good job of blocking out, or the clouds did a good job of blocking out a lot of the sun. Everybody hanging out in that 90-degree mark, making their way down into the 80s. We're going to see those temperatures probably bottom out around the upper 70s. But if you do remember around this time last week, we were already in the upper 80s, so we are sitting a bit warmer than we have been usually. And when we talk about being warmer, we'll show you here in a second. Right now, temperatures across the board showing us that we're all in that 90, 80-degree mark, making our way down. Still cooler to the north, not so much, or warmer to the south, not so much. Kind of an even spread with that strong southerly wind and those clouds kind of keeping everything uniform as we start to make our way into these cooler evenings where we see that humidity really build up. Well, all the chemicals or all the elements were there really to help it make it rain, but I think we were dealing with either not hot enough temperatures, believe it or not, or too much wind in the upper levels. We're seeing those humidity values and those dew points really up there, priming the atmosphere. A couple more degrees toward those dew points. Could have seen some thunderstorm activity, looking at a lot of information and a lot of data. We're talking about the upper level pattern and seeing when we could see the first potential for some rain showers. We thought that this heat dome, a lot of this ridging, is pulling those storms up and around the Rocky Mountains. You'll see here in a moment. But by about midweek next week, you see this flatten out. And then that's by the time we get to this weekend where we're going to see potential to see a lot of those storms with that monsoonal flow push into our region. But that's not to say there isn't a lot of strong southeasterly flow that's keeping those clouds more off to the north, which is strange when we talk about that zonal flow. We're talking about the upper level pattern. They're going to be seeing a lot more rainfall than they have been, which is strange because they've already seen quite a significant amount. While we're expected to see a little bit below where areas like the Panhandle have already out of those drought-like conditions. And then we're going to be seeing those above average temperatures, which when we talk about above average, when you saw the pattern, you're going to see how it kind of lines right along with that zonal flow. But below average temperatures, that's because those lows are going to be a lot more strong in character, dropping a lot of that colder air. Could be pushing a lot of those storms into our region. When we talk about the severe weather outlook, it's really going to build along this ridge. And then, excuse the graphic for a second, but it's going to switch over to show you kind of how intense those storms are. See how large they're getting, touching the top of the tropopause, triggering a lot of those severe weather warnings and watches along the Rocky Mountain Front Range. And then we're watching is right along the border of Mexico and Texas. That's where we're starting to see a lot of that convection from that monsoonal flow combined with those evening time diurnal effects. So strong, in fact, that we're seeing a few clouds push into our region, and then everything across our radar becomes subrefractive, where the atmosphere becomes too thick, and those radar waves are actually being bent back towards the surface. So not picking up a lot of that cloud cover, but the front track are going to show you how that moisture is really going to build in the afternoon, kind of intensify, and it's really going to go back and forth with those northerly winds and those southerly winds, keeping it right along the Concho Valley in that nice even boundary of just clouds where it's going to look like it's going to try to rain. But I think the southerly and northerly flow combined with that high pressure is going to keep a lot of those rain showers away from us. So tonight, going to be dropping down into those upper 70s. Seeing those clouds continue to battle whether or not they want to rain or not. And then tomorrow, that cooler, more humid start. And we're going to make another run at those triple-digit temperatures, continue to see that 30-degree spread where we're seeing those heat advisories and those excessive heat warnings continue to be issues. So when you're being out there, especially when it comes to football, be safe. Take those necessary precautions, stay hydrated out there, even though it does feel cool. And then that's going to take us into that first week of August, where we're going to continue to see those temperatures in the triple digit, where those lows are going to continue to stay in those mid-70s. And that's going to be the case as we continue to make our way through what could be the new average as we make our way through August with those drier conditions and above normal temperatures. We'll be back after the break. You're watching KSAN News at 10.